beneficent. The spares of the dawn light, the drenched corners of the dew, the morning breeze of the sunshine, the fog that smokes and around the sky, the aroma hovering in the atmosphere, and the glade green fields. Yes, Mr. President, it is spring. A very good morning to one and all present here. This is Manahil Fatima, and I'm here to deliver a speech on the topic that spring is the season of change. Mr. President, the snow melts, the air warms, the flowers bloom, the leaves flutter. The spring is a season that brings hope, optimism, and hope. Mr. President, the season when wind whips off the landmarks and wipes away the winters and the thirst of those chill nights away from our doorsteps. Yes, Mr. President, a great man once said, and I quote, "The day when Lord created hope was probably the same day when he created spring." Respected audience, spring brings you hope. Spring reminds you that you are part of something better and bigger than yourself. Spring reminds you to just lean on faith and to press on hope no matter how hard the situation gets. Just keep evolving and keep revolving. Respected audience, it is spring that gives you the hope that no matter what the circumstances are, never give up. Just keep blossoming. Respected audience and Mr. President, last night I was sitting alone and I listened to the old brag of my heart. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity, as it took me back to the era of Arab civilization, when it was the most tyrannical rules of all times, when drinking, gambling, and dancing were common, when women were treated merely as objects, when slaves were oppressed, when injustice prevailed, when people were taken as something object and nothing more than being humans. Yes, Mr. President, the time when persecution and tyranny was on its peak. At that time, there were people who believed that there will be a spring of hope. There were people who believed that despite all the injustice and all the inequalities, there will be a beacon of light. And yes, Mr. President, there was a spring. There was a hope. There was the greatest and biggest blessings of Allah Almighty in the form of Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who emerged as the beacon of light, having hope for the people who just revolved and changed the whole society in the era of 23 years, Mr. President, with patience, devotion, struggle, and hope. Not only this, Mr. President, let's go back to the 19th century. Let's go back to the time when the basic rights of Muslims were suppressed, when they were treated as the most inferior nation, when there were no rights, when there was no justice, when there was only injustice. Even at that time, when people had lost hope, even at that time when there was gloom, despair, and melancholy, there was a man who believed that he can and he will bring change. The man of wisdom, the man of virtue, the man who believed that he will be the spring of hope for those gloomy and for those autumn days. He was Qadeer Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the man of great optimism. Respected audience, it is spring that brings you change. It's spring that makes you believe to keep going no matter how hard the situation gets, to keep on taking one small step in the right direction. And not only this, I would like to just conclude on these beautiful lines that if you die before you die, you won't die when you die. If you want to see the change in the society, you need to be that change. If you want to see the blossom in the society, be that blossom for others. If you want to believe in a prosperous and a courteous society, be the one who introduces change, because every minor and every major thing matters. Say this.